I've got a trip coming up with my daughter, and it's for her senior trip. She graduated from high school. A week later, we're going to London, train to Paris,
Perfect.
and then south. We were thinking south of France. So we need to talk.
Yeah, get on the water.
I don't think I want to rent a car. Yep, I don't think I want to rent a car.
Right.
And then I think I want to do some training. I haven't really asked her specifically if she even wants me to run with her, but when I do run with her, I don't run, I ride a bike.
Oh, okay.
And so I remember thinking I'm on an e-bike. She's so fast that I'm on an e-bike getting tired and wondering if I can make it.
Wow,
that's
impressive.
Right. So she's fast. She ran the mile in 4:58 is her
really
fastest. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is faster than I've ever.
Right.
I ran track in college. So I could never run that fast.
Wow.
So that's what gets her into this scholarship thing.
My curious mind is, would you want to run that fast?
I don't. Yeah. Right. You know how painful that is. Yeah. The first lap, you don't feel it. Right. I did run the 1500.
Right.
Wow. So, which isn't about 100 meters short of a mile. Mile 1600.
Right.
So it's the last 3 laps though is pain. They say the hardest one's the third one. The last lap is your last lap, so you're mentally you're like I'm going to be done. There. Yeah, I'm going to get there. But the third lap is really hard to keep that pace up.
Right.
So she's got big goals to set the school record, which is 4:48, and that's a fast high school record. Right. Anyway, her pace, I don't know what she wants to train. I mean, it'll be right after her school year. I mean, it'll be right before she goes into training in the fall. So I'm not sure if she's going to really want to push it up anyway.
Right.
But she's going to want to run faster than I can run.
Are you going to stay in Airbnbs or pensions?
We haven't decided yet.
So when you're going to do your running with her, if you're going to be in an Airbnb, just look for one that's got a bike.
There you go.
That you have access.
Sure.
To something.
That's a good idea.
Or if you book an Airbnb, ask the host if they have any neighbors or anybody that has a bike, because you don't necessarily have to go rent one. The Europeans, it's interesting. You can
somebody's got one.
Strike up a conversation with someone. Yeah, somebody knows somebody who could.
That's great.
Could help out.
That's a great idea.
And don't be afraid to ask. Okay. I guess would be that's what I would recommend.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, you'd be amazed culturally. And this is something when we started traveling into Ireland, I'd mentioned our cottage is similar to our boating because we kind of do it in the same increments. We're there 60 days. Mm-hmm. It's got its systems. Mm-hmm. We don't just hop in the car and go somewhere. It's so rural. I mean, Friday is market day in Bantry. That's a 35-minute drive. So Friday we go and get fresh veg from Mikey's, and there's a seafood vendor there. So there are not real big fish markets everywhere in Ireland because all the fish they catch goes to the EU. But there is, on the market day, there is one fishing co-op that then brings fish, and everyone that wants fish. What's really interesting is a lot of the Irish people don't eat fish.
They don't eat fish?
No, they'll eat lamb and beef because that's what they raise.
Okay.
So fishing is a luxury.
Is it?
Thing? Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, it took both Andrea and I, but me specifically, it took me a little time to realize that culturally, these people are nice, sincere, and it's almost humbling because here, if we're doing something and we need some help or we need to organize something, we don't want to impose on people. People are busy. So just culturally, we don't, and I'm not speaking for everyone. I'd just say for me, asking somebody to help is not something I normally would do. I don't want to put them out. They're on a schedule. I'm on a schedule. I don't want to take time away from their work-life balance.
Yeah, you don't even think
to handle mine. Right. It's not even in the equation. In Ireland, it is okay to ask for help, and people will help. They won't say no. They actually, oh, sure, yeah, no worries, no bother. And it took me, it probably took me about a month and a half to really settle in with being a part of the community is really being a part of the community. So we could, if we didn't go engage with our neighbors, we would be expats and we wouldn't be a part of the community.
Right. Yep.
But there we are a part of the community. I will go and have tea with them.
Yep.
And sit down and talk with them. And so you might think you have an hour and then you're going to go talk to the neighbor and then they're going to offer you tea and you accept it. You don't. You have to say no 3 times before they really mean it. So they'll, would you like some tea? Oh, no, that's fine. I got to get back. And oh, no, really, I'm going to have some. I'm going to make some. Why don't you have a spot of tea with me? Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, really, Joel, you should just take some time and get the crack or whatever. I'm like, okay, one for the hand is usually what I'll say, which means, okay, give me a cup of tea. I'll stand here. And then an hour later, I'm heading home to do what I do.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. We get to slow down.
Yep.
And I think, back in time, it's almost, when I think about my grandparents talking about what it used to be like.
Yeah.
They were closer to that because all their parents immigrated from that.
Yeah.
They were immigrants here and brought that with them.
Yep.
Our habits, our consumption and our lifestyles and our transportation. And, we're on freeways, 2-lane freeway, 3-lane freeway full of cars. In Ireland, they may have 1 car for the whole house and 6 kids. And they count on each other. So if someone's going to church, they're not taking 6 different families to the church. One driver that week takes everyone to the church if that's where they're going. If they're going to the GEA field, whatever, it's totally different.
Wow, interesting.
And so if you can imagine this is for real. They do not work on Saturdays and Sundays. There is a work week, Monday through Friday. And if you're going to get together at night, that gathering will start at 7:30 or 8 p.m. because they hold sacred the schedule of work. You work from 8 or 9 to 5. Go get a pint because that's the local. That's where everyone goes and it's going to the post office. They're exchanging the gossip of the day, get the crack, have 1 pint. They don't go to the pub to get drunk. They just get a pint, catch up, check in with everyone, then go home and have a family meal together with the kids. And then after that, they'll go visit with whoever. They don't skip dinner and I'm working late today. Doesn't happen.
I need some of that.
You can learn a lot from that.
Yeah.
And so Andy and I, we have a phrase here. We're going all Irish on this because what we've learned in that lifestyle is that everything that we put the timelines on and the rush is us. That's just us. Because nothing has to get done. That the only thing you have to do every day, is breathe.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's true.
And all the rest of it is all this other stuff that we put on ourselves.
That's right.
So we've learned a lot in that, and we everything gets sorted. And a reason why everything gets sorted is what we've learned there is a lot of times we do need to ask people for help to get stuff sorted. So here we will take the time and recognize, okay, this is not going how we thought, but it doesn't have to go how we thought. It'll all get sorted and we can work it out. Yeah.
That's cool. I read a book about how the Irish saved civilization. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So I think what I got from that is a long time ago. Might have been college years or something like that, but it was who is it? The Irish saint
Patrick.
Yep. Was involved in translating the Bible, I think, into English. Isn't that right?
Right.
So
a little bit there from Gaelic, probably to English. Yep.
Yeah. So back during that time, there was only a few people that could read, and they were the priests.
Right.
So they spent their time translating the book. One of the only books.
Right.
At the time.
And it probably would have been different. It probably would have been from English to Gaelic in order to have that, because the Gaelic was the original indigenous language.
Okay.
There.
Different than English.
Yeah.
And is it more of like a Nordic
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. It's a native tongue, and Reese and Rowan speak Gaelic. It is a very difficult language to speak, and most of the Irish, they're required to take it in the schools, but a lot of them don't keep up with it. There are certain villages they call the Gaeltacht, which is an actual village that's subsidized to keep the indigenous language alive, and that's what they speak. All the signs are there. All the people, they're bilingual, but the literal, they're actually subsidized to speak in the grocery stores and everywhere in Gaelic.
Really? Wow.
Just to keep the language, because when the indigenous language disappears, it's gone.
It's gone forever.
Yeah.
And can you understand it?
No.
Oh, you can't even understand the speech?
No.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that.
It's, they have, it's, well, I suppose I could understand it if I knew it, if I was taught it, but it's very difficult to learn.
Is it from the north? Is it kind of like the influence from like Norway and some of the Nordic countries?
Yes, the Northern European, Scots Gaelic.
Yeah, Icelandic.
Yeah,
is impossible.
Right.
To understand and or to pronounce. So it kind of reminds me of that.
And that's one of the things that there is a benefit in Ireland. It's primarily an English-speaking country. So as Americans, pretty much everywhere you go, you'll find English in all of those countries. But not everyone really cares about English.
Right.
So like when you're in Portugal, if you're talking to native Portuguese people, they're going to speak to you in Portuguese.
Right.
They don't want you to try to speak with them in Spanish because their Spanish, for lack of the proper word there, is Portuguese Spanish. It's not Spanish, Spain Spanish.
Yep.
So, and there's friction between those two countries. Yeah. And in Spain, they want to speak Spanish. Now you can speak English, but you're only going to speak English with Spanish people that give a rip.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then Italy, same thing. Now, Italy, it's interesting because we've been in all of those countries, and each one is unique in its own way. They're all beautiful.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Italy because a lot of the history that we grew up with is from Italy.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, Italy, and then also Greece. So between Spain, Greece, and Italy, I think Italy, for me, has been the most friendly to tourists. And I don't know why. Why I feel that way. I don't know if it's because there's just that many people that go there, and so we saw a lot more interaction. But all of those countries, you don't have to learn their language to navigate your way around. There's somebody that speaks English somewhere.
And France is, from what I understand, the most unwilling to speak English. So,
very true.
So they're doing their thing, right? Yep. And so if you're traveling in France, you're on Google Translate.
Yes. Yeah, and they don't want to teach you French. They don't care.
Right. Yep. And so I'm about to experience that, and I'm looking forward to that. So I've already been to Italy. I haven't been to London.
Well, Cinque Terre, isn't that where you and Shannon got engaged?
Yeah, exactly. Nice job. Yeah.
So we went to Cinque Terre, I guess it would have been in fall of 2022. And that was my first time in Italy. Great. The villages were awesome to walk in. And I really enjoyed traveling in Italy. From Cinque Terre, we took a train to Pisa, saw the Leaning Tower there, and then went into, so we started in Milan, went to Cinque Terre, Pisa, back to Florence, and loved that. And then in 23, we went back and we went to the Dolomites and Venice.
Ooh.
Oh my God. The Dolomites were, I'm almost embarrassed to tell you how little prepared we were for how beautiful that was going to be.
Cool.
Just breathtaking. We rented a car and we did Airbnbs and hubbed out and drove around. And it's, for lack of a better term, it's the backside of the Swiss Alps.
Yep.
and the alpine meadows and the sound of music, all that
Yep.
was there. It was just.
Was it from Milan? Is that where you rented a car?
No, from there we flew into Venice, and then I actually Promo. Let me think, and then started with a P. I rented it from an airport, so I took a rail to the airport to only rent the car and return it to the airport while we were in the Dolomites, and then we took the train back.
Amazing.
And did that, which is something you may do in future travels. Just know you don't always have to rent it when you need it. Go do what you're going to do, and then when you need one, find the nearest airport and take a train to the airport or the bus and rent the car and use it only for the stretch you need it.
Well, this has got me thinking, like maybe we should fly from, Paris to Venice on like a little jumper in Europe,
Venice is cool. Now, Venice is a pedestrian town. Have you been in Venice?
Yep.
Okay. Really cool.
Yeah,
spot.
Totally cool.
And the beads go out to Murano, the little islands where they have the Murano glass. Yep. And all of that.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And then maybe work my way across northern Italy through the Cinque Terre, through all the way to Nice. Because then you get then it's basically more time in northern Italy than it is in like South France.
Right.
Because I'm not sure about that many days in south of France. I don't know, wine tasting. I know which isn't going to be something we're interested in with a 18-year-old daughter.
Right.
So I don't.
Is it just going to be you? Who's going with you?
Just me and
you and her.
Yeah. So I'm not really interested in drinking a lot of wine. Like French wine or any of that stuff. I mean, if it was, yourself and your wife maybe, and you both enjoyed wine maybe, but anyway, we're just. I like the Mediterranean areas that we're talking about, like Monaco and northern Italy. It'd be great to see the Cinque Terre. And Mm-hmm. Greece is really steep, though.
Greece is steep and it's big. And how long are you going to be there?
10 days.
Yeah, so that's a real short period of time. So if you were asking me, gee, how would I spend that time there? I would ask your daughter give her options. Yeah. So come up with 5 things, write them down. Mm-hmm. Have your phones ready so she can do a quick Google to see. Yep. And say what we really need to do is we don't want to chew up all our time traveling in between. So let's concentrate. Of everything that we have an option to do, what would you like to do?
Right.
And maybe pick 2 of those places. Take a train or a plane, from Paris, and get on the Mediterranean in the south of France, in those villages down on the water. And on stuff like that, I use TripAdvisor.
Okay.
I'll Google, look at a map, find a village, and then I'll click that, and then I'll let TripAdvisor take me to things to do.
I see.
And what I've learned to do, by the way, and I use TripAdvisor for a lot for this. Mm-hmm. I go on to them, and when I think there's something I want to do, I dig into the reviews, and I get deep. I'll go 3, 4, 5 levels deep, because by the time you've read that many, you've got a pretty good brush on what is there.
Right.
And if there's, if it's a 3, keep looking. Look for the 4.5 to 5s.
Yep.
And look for those statements where the travelers that are experienced travelers say this delivers.
Yep.
And then if you find a thread like that, read it.
Yeah.
And
find out what they're saying.
Screenshot it and do what they did.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
TripAdvisor is really good for that.
Okay.
On that level.
All right.
Because with the 10-day period, first of all, traveling that far, you've got jet lag to deal with a little bit.
Totally. Yeah.
And work that in. That's a time bubble.
Yeah.
So like Andy and I, when we fly to Dublin, it's a direct flight for us, but we leave at night here. It's midday there.
Yep.
We don't really sleep on the airplane, so we're tired. But what we do is, because Reese's fiance's parents are in Dublin, we will schedule one night in Airbnb in Dublin, and we will hook up with them and have dinner with them.
Yeah.
Just to catch up and debrief. The next day, we get on the train and get started. So it's a 2-day bubble.
Yeah.
Coming back, it's a 3-day bubble, because what we'll do is we leave our house, get the car to Reese's place, get on the train, get to Dublin, spend one night there, just ready, knowing that we're going to leave. But then we actually spend the next day in Dublin,
right?
Just kind of as a debriefing, and then catch the plane out the next day. And so they're right there. There's 5 days tied up in that. So when you're going for 10 days, you for sure you've got 2 days.
Yep.
Chewed up in traveling there just because of the time change. And
all right, then I'm going to do TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
And look at what they're saying in South France.
And I would get all the way on the water.
Yeah.
There are villages similar to Cinque Terre on the South France.
Yeah.
In the water.
Okay, we'll do that.
And that's fun because you're dealing with fish. Now, in France, there will be fish and sea, but there's a sea life and there's tourists and boats, and the photo ops are spectacular.
Oh, I bet.
With the cliffs and the rocks and swimming.
Okay.
Make sure you take swimming trunks.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do
because there, even this time of the year, well, I'm sorry, you're going to be there in June?
Yeah.
Yeah, in June.
Should be warm enough.
Oh, yeah. You just
maybe
need
not
a
in
backpack,
London,
a pair of trunks, and a towel. and literally in Europe, people literally just change right where they are, on the sidewalk, whatever. It's not no beach houses and all that. They just wrap in towels and drop trowel, put on their trunks, and boom.
Yeah.
And just go. It's really wild. Love it. Yeah, actually it is. It's really cool. Really cool. So.
Well, this has been fun, man.
I've enjoyed it. I hope I didn't share too much with you. Oh. What's fun for me is to, I do like to talk to people, especially about travel.
Yeah.
Because traveling is so rewarding for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things you can learn while you're traveling that can carry over into your own life.
Yeah.
I'm at an age now where I'm looking back, and I'm looking at the youth today, and I'm thinking, wow, their journey's different. I can honestly say that it is different for them. I couldn't tell someone your daughter's age, this is what you need to do to be how I am, because how I got here in my journey doesn't exist today.
It doesn't.
I'm not competing with AI on a job interview, or an application and all of that. So it's a whole different thing. So what I would say to a youth now, because I'm looking at our grandson who's going to be 5 years old, Walter, is sharp kid. But I'm looking at him thinking, okay, what kind of advice would I give Walter? I'm saying, well, I know in your future, your AI is going to be a big part of the future.
Yeah.
So whatever you want to do, if in fact income and jobs are even a thing 20 years from now, I mean, what does that look like? You know, is there a company, or is everyone a consultant? What does that look like?
That's right.
Whatever you do, make sure that you're learning AI and how whatever you're going to contribute coexists with it, not competes with it, because it'll run you over. It won't be. Right. So if you're going to be in a trade, if you're going to be welding or carpentry or whatever, that's great, because that will always be needed. AI won't replace that, but AI is who's going to design that.
Yeah.
So focus on that.
Yeah.
And then, lifestyle and stuff like that. So I just appreciate you actually asking me to come talk. I always enjoy our conversations.
I know.
It's kind of interesting to have it recorded now, I hope.
It is. It's strange. It is strange. You're right. So the next thing, let's do this. Let's go on a hike, if you want. Like up in the North Cascades, like that. That's always fun. Like one thing we like to do is a day hike. And have you ever been Heather Meadows? Have you ever done that one?
Yes, up at Mount Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the Highway 20.
By the off Highway 20 where you go the backside. Yeah, I've been up there. I haven't hiked up there. I've done Sauk Mountain.
Okay.
Up there.
Heather Maple Pass. Have you ever done?
I don't think so.
Oh,
what is that?
You're
going
to love that.
5 hour? Is it a loop or?
It's a loop. Yep.
Perfect.
It's probably about not quite 5 hours. Probably 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
How about Pilchuck, Mount Pilchuck? You ever done that?
No.
That's pretty cool.
I have a friend that has. That's pretty aggressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pilchuck?
Yeah. It gets steep. That's more strenuous, but Heather Maple Pass is
nice.
Bad. Yeah. I like the views from there. pretty cool,
Yeah.
especially in the fall
Yes.
because that's when the heather's changing colors.
Yes.
And
the huckleberry
maple,
plants are kind of green and red.
Yeah, and the maple is on like the other side, like on the
Yeah.
other side of the pass, and it's all red. So I think that'd be great to do that. with
Okay.
you.
That'd be
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay. So you're going to be in town. You're leaving in a couple weeks for a month.
I'll be gone for a month, and then I'll be back, and then I think we're going to be leaving first week of May.
Okay.
Coming back. We usually come back July 5th, and then we're going to actually have a 45th year high school reunion.
Wow. In Post Falls.
Yes. So we're going to go back and do that. And
your class.
Yeah, my class, and we usually do a combined because actually my class and Andy's class back in that day they were all really small. So we all I was amazed, and still there are probably about a dozen couples that were high school sweethearts.
Really?
That were in our class.
That's a lot.
Are still married.
It seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it true what they say? Yeah. Did you go to your 30 year or in your 40?
Yeah. So I went to my 10-year reunion.
Yep.
Missed the 20. We were right in the middle of it. Right.
Yeah.
All hands on deck. We missed that one.
Yeah. So you're too busy to go to your 20.
Went back to our 30 year,
Yeah.
which was great. And then COVID was the 40th. So we opted out on that. Nobody could gather.
Sure.
In 2020. Wow. So this time we're all getting back together.
Because I heard somebody said that during the 10-year, 15-year, even the 20-year, everyone's still in their same. The cool kids are still the cool kids, and the nerds are the nerds.
Yep.
And then at some point it flips.
Yep.
And then that gal that was
this
kind of quiet and nerdy is now like a billionaire or like famous.
Yeah.
And then the one that the cool kids are all like,
opting out or didn't quite turn out,
washed up and angry or something like that, right?
What I think, so I remember hearing, it might have been my parents when they went to their 45th, what they realized in their 45th was everyone was old enough that really all they wanted to do was sit around and talk. Yeah. And nobody had anything to prove to anybody or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it was just pleasant. Nobody really cared what you did because everyone was just thankful they were that age and still moving.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And what's weird is I remember because I was very involved in our 30th reunion and what I had done because I was in the advertising field. So I had a lot of technology and scanners and everything. So literally Facebook was just coming out. It was 2009.
Whoa.
When my generation group all kind of found Facebook, 2009, and our 30th was 2010. So I learned something on that reunion. It was really interesting because when we were all growing up, you lost track of people. There was no internet. There was no email. Mm-hmm. If somebody was in class the last day of school and then weren't in class the first day of school the next year, what happened to them? Well, they moved somewhere. Mm-hmm. Someone might have known where they were, but nobody was writing letters all the time. And so what I did was I took all those annuals that we had from our freshman year through senior, so 4 years of annuals, scanned all the photos of all the students each year to keep history. And then the senior year, during graduation, Mount St. Helens blew in 1980, and that was the year I graduated. So it was weird because they shut school down and nobody could drive. There was ash everywhere. Yep. If you had a passing grade, you didn't have to do finals. They just automatically, you were okay to graduate.
Right.
What was shocking to me was how many of my friends that I had growing up, I thought we all graduated together in high school. And when I actually took the brochure with all the name of the graduates and then took all the photos that we had over the years of all the people that were part of the class, there were probably about 40 or 50 students that didn't even make it to our senior year. That I still know and see.
Really?
Yeah. It was just weird. It's like, what happened? What was that story? They didn't graduate. I didn't know that. And it was weird 30 years later to see that. And it really didn't make a difference. It was just one of those mysteries, like, what happened to these people? Mm-hmm. Where'd they go? So.
Yeah, maybe we'll look back and find out that our kids don't really need to go to college.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a whole, I think COVID might have helped start that journey, because with technology, do you really need to go into a classroom environment to learn something?
Exactly.
And with technology and video and Zoom and all that, you could take classes from a different country.
You could do the whole thing on YouTube.
And college education is not expensive all over the world.
No, you're right. Just in the U.S.
And I'm a business person, and I struggle sometimes with the idea of everyone doing what the American dream, or they're doing it all right. They're doing what they're supposed to do. The students are going to school and they're getting good grades and they're doing everything they need to prep themselves for that college education. But the expense of the education far exceeds a lot of the income that the people that are going to have to pay for that education have.
Yeah.
So does it really make sense for you to actually second mortgage or go in debt as a parent? To put a young kid in school that hasn't quite figured it out yet. Is that a really good return on investment?
Yeah.
I myself personally, just with my own story, would know I would have been a better investment if that's how school was going to happen for me.
Yeah.
If I would have got out of high school and then, instead of a gap year, taken about 7 gap years, and at age 25, when I really knew what I wanted to do, then go borrow money and get that education, because then I've got skin in the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
right.
Not everyone shares my opinion on that. I do believe there is a benefit to go into higher education, just in people skills.
Absolutely.
And here's the one constant in life that I know. I've built a life on this.
Yeah.
People are everywhere. They are the common denominator.
Right.
The education, that's a luxury and a benefit, but it is not required with people.
Right.
Relationship is required with people. And we can do that without an education, if we allow it. So anyway, I appreciate your time. This has been a great experience. My first time ever doing anything like this. Yeah.
Well, dude, you're fantastic. Yeah, you're going to be my favorite.
No, you'll have more, because you're a great guy, and you're a magnet too. You got to,
thanks.
your vibe, you and Shannon you've got it going on. And what's nice is that you actually think about this stuff. You have a plan and you're doing something unique. And it's like, okay, well, what does that look like? Because your funnel needs to stay really wide, and you're going to draw from everywhere.
Yeah, I knew I didn't want to be like dancing on TikTok,
Yeah.
Like,
well, and you have a great pool of people to work with. You have all kinds of interesting stories coming in and out of here.
I know, exactly.
And with your people skills, I think that people will help you and participate, and you can draw that out of each other. And it'll be beneficial for everybody that's watching this. So keep me posted on how it's going and what's going on. And then
sounds good.
I think I've got my next tooth cleaning something, whatever. And I always do it early in the morning now too, by the way, because I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, we won't get you too far behind.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Schedule.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
Yeah. And don't ever stop that too, by the way, because that's one of those things that this is your.
Yeah, this is it.
This is your business. That you're the front man on this. Yeah. And that's why people come to you. The Perry Family Dentistry is a big part of this community. So
yeah,
that's
thanks.
neat.
You're right.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Good to see you, man.